Preliminary final time in the ANZ Championship is coming to you from the Newcastle Entertainment Centre between two of the best the competition has to offer. The New South Wales Swifts take on the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic. For the winner, there'll be one more roll of the dice. For the loser, there is no tomorrow. Welcome everyone to what is shaping up to be one of the games of the season. And here in studio, I'm joined by Sky commentator Jenny Woods and former National League player and new mother, Kate Dowling. Welcome, ladies. Let's talk first, Jenny, about the Newcastle Entertainment Centre. It means more travel for the Magic. Does this put them at more of a disadvantage than they usually are when they travel to Australia?
I don't know that it really does, Catherine. I mean, I think the players at this level are used to playing here, there and everywhere. They've said in the past, you know, getting to Invercargill is probably harder these days than getting to Australia. So, no, I don't think so.
And you've got to look at the psychological advantage that the Australians bring. They're playing on home turf. They've had a 17-goal winning game lead over them previously, and they've got that Australian confidence that you just can't buy in a skippy bag of cornflakes.
Oh, there you go, skippy bag of cornflakes. Well, let's have a look at how both these teams arrived here at the preliminary final in the major semi-final. A major upset. The Thunderbirds, way too good, absolutely annihilating the New South Wales Swifts. The minor semi-final was probably a little bit more predictable. Most people expected the Magic to go through, and they were too strong for the Southern Steel. And of course, we have this afternoon's game coming to you from the Newcastle Entertainment Centre between the Swifts and the best New Zealand has to offer in the Magic. And the winner of this match will go through and play the Adelaide Thunderbirds next week at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Over 9,000 people will be there. The game sold out in 12 minutes, which is absolutely incredible. But it's time now for us to actually go live to the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, where our commentators are, Andrew McVeigh and Anna Stanley. What's it like over there, ladies?
Hey, Kath. Well, it is fantastic to be here in Newcastle. We've travelled safe all this way, no doubting where we are, that's for sure. And Anna Stanley, let's be honest, there's plenty of numbers when you throw them round looking into this one, but one that's almost insurmountable for the Magic.
Yes, well, the one New Zealand side has only ever won on Australian soil. They've played 40 matches across the Tasman New Zealand sides, but the good thing is the one team that has won over here is the Magic. They beat the Fever last year, so that's got to be a good thing. But yeah, it's a stat that, look, could end all other stats. Let's hope it goes the Magic's way.
Yeah, and maybe it is time for that drought, which is now over a year old, to finally be broken. The other thing, Annie, is there's absolutely no doubting, as I said, where we are. It is a huge crowd in and an amazing atmosphere. They really are behind enemy lines, the Magic.
Look, they certainly are. It's been a sellout crowd here at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre. The state age group champs have been on in Sydney, and we've got all the players here tonight, so it's full of 12 and 13-year-olds screaming their heads off already. It's been a sellout next weekend for the finals. The netball is huge over here at the moment, and I must say, Catherine Cox graced us with her presence. The front page of the Sydney Herald, which is apparently a big thing for a woman to get on the front page over here.
It absolutely is. So anyway, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can the Magic do it?
If the All Whites can draw with
That was a
Italy,
big breath, wasn't it?
they can. I'm going Magic by between 2 and 4.
Well, they've played twice in finals netball, haven't they? On both occasions, the Swifts have won. And so even though my heart says Magic, I think it may just go the way of the Swifts. We'll see you soon in commentary.
Well, just to prove to you that Anna Stanley was actually telling the truth, there is a picture of the beautiful Catherine Cox, broken nose and all. It's amazing where a broken nose takes you. But let's actually hear from one of the key players in the New South Wales Swifts, Sonia McCloma, and her thoughts about the Swifts' shock loss to the Thunderbirds last week.
And what a result it is today with the Adelaide Thunderbirds inflicting the first defeat for the season on the New South Wales Swifts.
It was weird because, you know, Sydney were coming off the back of, you know, bottom of the table last year. So every win for us was a bonus this season. You know, everyone celebrated each win. We never thought about 2 games time. We always fought about 1 game at a time, you know, each quarter at a time and winning each quarter. And so then to come into fight, you know, going through the season undefeated and then going into finals and, you know, forgetting that Adelaide's a good team. And, you know, yeah, we beat them twice, but they're going to come out, they want to make it to finals. You know, they lost to Magic. So for them, it was literally, you know, better to beat Sydney than to play Magic. So, you know, we just weren't strong enough, and the intensity of netball just stepped up tenfold. It got tough, it got rough, and, you know, we have to stand up to it.
Fantastic skills, Casey Williams. That was magic.
They've got a good defensive end. You know, they've got a lot of height at the back there, and they're attacking. You know, they've got Jodie Brown and Irene Van Dijk at the front with Frances Salia feeding, and, you know, Laura Langman. They've also brought in import Jade Clark. So, you know, they're a strong front four. And, you know, to combat them is going to take a lot of discipline from us in defence and, you know, a lot of courage to go for balls.
Welcome back to this do-or-die clash between the New South Wales Swifts and the Magic. Kate Dowling, the Swifts suffered their first loss of the season last week. Was it a positive or a negative for them?
Absolutely positive. Hell had no fury like an Australian team scorned.
Well, there you go. Well, let's have a look at this Swifts lineup. It's a pretty strong one, Jenny. Not too many weaknesses.
And the name that leaps out at you at wing attack, Durham. Judy Fitzgerald pulling a bit of a Swiftie there herself. No Courtney Tyree in this lineup, Kath, going for the youngster.
A key to this Swifts lineup, as we have mentioned, is Sonia McCloma. And let's get her thoughts on how the Swifts are going to beat the Magic this afternoon.
You just need to be consistent. You know, they're going to get opportunities and they're going to probably score from them. You know, they've got 2 top shooters in there. So our job is to get the ball, you know, and you create them to make turnovers, and we capitalise on it. And it's kind of like a basic as that. Whoever's got the ball has to score from it, and it could be a game going go for goal. You know, you don't know, and it's been prepared to put out the hard yards.
Jen, she's got a big role today against Van Dijk. What sort of role does McCloma play? An attacking one, or does she try and play a negating role on?
Well, I hope it's an attacking one. I mean, I think she's a fabulous player to watch in flight. I think we've all enjoyed her over the years. And also, it worked for her last time when the Swifts did pull off that big win against the Magic.
Let's look at the lineup for the visiting side. Pretty strong one there, Kate. They should do well.
There's no surprises here. We're lucky to see Jodie Todd taking the court, though. Obviously, her calf injury not playing a huge impact on her game today.
And one of the stars of the show, no doubt, will be Irene Van Dijk. And let's get her thoughts on how the Magic are going to upset the Swifts.
What we have to do is we have to make sure that when we do get turnover that we score off it, and that we play patient netball like when we played against the Steel. I don't think we had a lot of balls thrown away, especially in our attacking end. We tend to be a bit more expensive because, you know, with Casey and Jodie Todd turning over such a lot of ball, at our defensive end we can be quite expensive because we play with such a lot of flair. But yeah, definitely against the Swifts you have to be precise and make sure that you score off your turnovers.
So let's get down to business, ladies. Who is going to win and why?
I say Magic by 4 because this is a different Magic side. It's a Magic side on the rise.
I'd like to see Magic take it all the way, but I do think it'll be Swifts by 2.
Well, there you have it from the expert. The game is not too far away, so stay with us. But before we go to the break, let's hear from one of the stars, as I said, of the show, Irene Van Dijk, and her thoughts on the Magic and the preliminary final.
It is the Magic, which is on its way to Newcastle for a date with the Swifts.
We've been here before, and I know that every year we make it hard for ourselves. But I think we've learned from our past mistakes, and I think after having Peter's injury and Jade coming into our team, that our team are just getting in that groove again. So it's just onwards and upwards from here.
We're like every other team that wants it so desperately. We've been in the semi-finals for the past 3 years and we haven't been able to quite get there yet, and hopefully this is the year for us. We've got a really good culture, and our culture this year is just amazing and everyone gets on so well, so it'll be a nice way to end the season.
Look, it's third time lucky. We have to go all the way. Yes, we have to. And it is going to be a hard task, but it's not an impossible task. So we just need to go out there, play another game. We've got 2 more games to go.
We are in the home straight for this match between the Magic and the Swifts. It's going to be a huge one. There'll be a lot of key players out on court. But let me ask you this question. The game is all about accuracy and the shooting circle. Who's more important to their side, Jenny, Catherine Cox or Irene van Dijk?
Yeah, it's a good question, Catherine. I think you'd have to come down on the side of Irene van Dijk. She is a shooting machine. And the difference there is that, of course, Catherine Cox has got Susan Pratley alongside her, who was also a bit of a machine, whereas Jodie Brown for the Magic doesn't put as many shots up.
I think the statistics are about Jodie Brown puts up 30% of the shots versus Irene 70, and Pratley picks up about 48%. So if one of them goes down, you know, the Swifts are going to be able to put them through the hoop.
And where do you think the game will be, won or lost? Is it that simple?
It's never that simple, is it, Catherine? I'm sure. I will be paying very close attention to Frances Solia, the wing attack for the Magic, been under the pump a little bit during this season, and if she has trouble getting that ball into that shooting circle, I think the Magic will be in trouble.
And probably the two internationals, Laura Langman and Green, what a match-up that's going to be. Just Langman bringing such an excellent defensive game to the board, and Green just assisting with the goals. You know, it's going to come down to the whistle.
Well, we won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's cross live to the Newcastle Entertainment Centre and our Sky commentators Andrew McVeigh and Anna Stanley.
The centre and captain Laura Langman.
Welcome to the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, where the 2010 season will end for either the New South Wales Swifts or the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic, New Zealand's last team standing. Before last week, the Swifts had won 13 straight. Now it's sudden death for them. But former Silver Fern skipper Anna Stanley, when you consider the numbers, it will take a miracle for the Magic to cause the upset.
It will take a miracle if you look at the stats. Only one New Zealand side has ever crossed the Tasman and won, but the good thing is that team is the Magic. So they've beaten the Fever on Australian soil before. They know how to win. And the good thing about this Magic side is they are a completely different side to the last time they hit the Swifts. They're coming into form, so it's certainly doable for them to win.
The New South Wales Swifts led out by Catherine Cox, the woman on the right-hand side of your screen. She's got a bandage around her thigh. She's still got bruising from her broken nose. It's a big afternoon for her and a pretty big ask.
Yeah, she's nursing a few wounds, but I don't think I've met anyone as tough as Catherine Cox in this league. So she's a tough customer. She's an experienced campaigner, and she knows that it's sudden death here today. And even though she's got a sore thigh and a sore nose, she'll be going out there and giving it her best.
Massive atmosphere in here at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre. When we look around us here, there's just wall-to-wall bangers. There's a massive racket going on. The Magic definitely know they're behind enemy lines.
Yep, but they've still got some Magic supporters in the crowd, so a few Hamiltonians and Waikato people have made the trek across, so it's great to see them. The Mulu bells are going and the Magic scarves are out, so it's great to have a bit of home support for them as well.
Definitely a battle of the bookends. Van Dijk against McCloma at one end. Casey Williams against Catherine Cox at the other. This is the 2010 preliminary final. Sudden death netball, and we're away. New South Wales Swift centre pass hosting the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic, and already Casey Williams makes her intentions very clear. Nice triangle, Pratley in shooting position.
And the new wing attack, Christy Durham. Good introduction to this game. Interesting move from Fitzgerald to have her on the court. Tyree got the nod last week, but she plays her second game in this ANZ Championship so far.
Already quick hands. Jodie Brown uses Frances Solia, so a nice exchange. Magic front end offload to Van Dijk. She regathers. And contact called against Kimberly Smith, so Langman will set the penalty and takes the easy option right in front of her.
Yeah, nice feed from Brown. That's what she's been so strong at in this Magic side over the last few weeks, are those great feeds into Van Dijk.
There's been a terrific amount of pressure on Jodie Brown, and her performance these past 3 weeks certainly has picked up.
Well, she only shot still 9 attempts last week against the Steel. Last time she played the Swifts, Pratley shot double more than her. So I think if the Magic can win this afternoon, Brown certainly needs to lift her performance a bit more, help Van Dijk out a bit more, support her in that goal circle. Yeah, lovely up to go back from Brown, and there's the feed in. So,
well, you almost preempted that. 2 apiece, early days here in Newcastle.
We saw last week when it was Borrego one-on-one against McComas, she got the better of her. So if Brown can somehow draw Bully out of the circle and make it one-on-one down there, then it's a sweet feed in.
Torrid battle already in the shooting circles. Jodie Todd penalised though, so Kath Cox, easy stuff, no. And Williams gobbles up any rebounds.
Oh, that was a bad call.
Right in front of us, Laura Langman certainly questioned the umpire, but she's not going to change her mind. So now Rebecca Bully throws in, uses Smith. And good patient stuff, New South Wales Swifts. They'll reset.
So good pressure from the Magic here. The Swifts having to really work it around to get it into Cox.
And Williams called for contact, so Pratley will have a go.
Nice rebound, Cox.
And the call again against Casey Williams. And the defensive end umpire, Mandy Nottingham from New Zealand. At the other end, Sharon Kelly from Australia. So an umpire from each country, something that we've all wanted for basically the 3 years of this championship. Langman tries to find Jade Clark. The angle's all wrong.
Van Dyke just getting caught a little bit too much on the baseline there.
Let it go.
The last time Jade Clark came up against the Swifts, she'd literally just got off the flight from Manchester, so you know she's improved significantly over the last 3 or 4 rounds.
Held ball. Yes, the match you speak of only a matter of weeks ago, and on that occasion the New South Wales Swifts won by 17.
And had 22 more attempts at goal than the Magic. But you look at the stats, and the Magic were by far the better in terms of their accuracy. It's just the volume of ball that the Swifts get. So if the Magic can stifle that flow, because they don't have the best stats, Cox is only at 79%, Pratley at 84, whereas, you know, the Magic, you've got Van Dyke at 93. So, and the Magic are doing a good job at the moment of you know, making the Swifts attack work for the ball.
Massive pressure on the shot, Casey Williams, but Kath Cox, no trouble at all. So 4-2. Only a few minutes old, this game. Still about 10.5 minutes to run in the first spell. Lovely drive, Kath Cox. She is just a class act.
And a lovely pass from Durham on the baseline. So fantastic rapport already between Cox and Durham.
Yeah, they're singing sweetly so far. The New South Wales Swifts, meantime.
Lovely hands from Van Dyke. That looked like it was going out the back door.
No goal.
Contact on the ball was that.
So a couple of calls going against the Magic so far, and they're proving costly. The Swifts already have the 3-goal buffer. This will take them to 4 with the next centre pass. So the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic defence probably need to deliver.
Pratley's nice and sharp on that baseline as well.
Great defence of the shot, but Pratley up and over Jodie Todd.
So Swifts 4 up. Magic need to start getting some ball here because a 4-goal lead. There we go. She read my mind. Casey Williams.
Clark now will reset using Williams. And this goal, an important one for the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic. They won't want the Swifts to get too much of a run on. Clark again.
Bully's doing a good job on Brown, making her work really hard. Yeah, lovely pass.
And what a picture of athleticism, Irene Van Dyke. Make sure of it.
Yeah, you think she'd be used to it, all the balls she gets. She can look a bad pass, look like a great pass, Van Dyke.
And there's another.
And that's good that the Magic are letting the ball go. They're showing their confidence.
And that's a perfectly placed pass, taken beautifully. 6-4 now, 8.5 minutes to run in the first spell. Coming to you live from the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, north of Sydney.
Contact advantage offside.
And Bully will reset. She uses Durham.
Magic Girls are doing a bit of a chant in the background.
Well, I guess all of the Magic supporters will try and make as much noise as they possibly can. As Cox adds another. And interesting, Annie, on the plane this morning when you were coming over from New Zealand, plenty of Magic scarves and supporters.
And at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'll have you know, that flight was. So great to see the committed fans up early and prepared for a big flight over and a big day to be here in Newcastle. So, yeah, it was great to see.
Van Dijk takes the Magic total to 5. We're halfway through the first quarter. Coming to you live from Newcastle, north of Sydney. A break called against Kim Smith, so that's another one back for the Magic. Langman, they try to use the angles. Frances Solier doing a world of work off the ball.
Yeah, and Kim Smith's smart. She's smothering Frances Solier with the ball. She's a lot shorter, Solier. And Smith's got good distance on her 3-foot mark. She's trying to really smother that ball so Solier can't see into the circle.
She's certainly a rangy player. And you'd have to say one of the strategies seems to be putting the bomb in against Macloma. She's got a hand to it. And the height difference there as well, 1.9 metres Irene Van Dijk, 184 Sonia Macloma. It's just those long arms of hers.
Say those rangy arms make up for the 6 centimetre difference probably.
So precious ball surrendered by the Magic. Now Pratley will try to rally her troops. Cox out of the circle. Sweet feed in.
The last few phases of play, Pratley has done a really good drive on that baseline, which Todd really needs to shut down. She needs to keep her out, keep her wide, because Cox is prepared to come out. Keep them both out.
6 minutes remaining. First quarter, 8-6. So very little in it. And this wonderful patient attack again from the Swifts. Bullies used on the transverse line. And Durham works hard off the ball.
Yeah.
Cox.
Great full court roll.
That was always going to be Casey Williams.
Yep, advancing it too.
Crowd don't like it. There's the bomb again.
Well, Vicky Wilson during the week said that Langman and Solier were the 2 weak links in this Magic side. Langman already has put in some fantastic feeds into Van Dijk, and there's the rebound that Casey Williams pulled in and said, no, give it, that's mine.
Oh, yep. Clean over the top from Williams. So suddenly it's all tied up. 8 apiece, just under 5 minutes left in this first spell. Solier has a go at Bully. She's just too little, though. And Cox out of the circle. Works pretty well when Kath Cox goes roaming.
She's a great deliverer of the ball, Cox, as you just saw there. Looks in, delivers it on first phase, and Pratley's pretty tidy on the baseline.
Well, we're with you live, Sky Sport, but we're sitting on the back of Channel 10's coverage here in Australia, as they stand by now to catch up with the New South Wales Swifts coach.
Quite well, and they're feeling themselves out a little bit at the moment.
Julie, you must be impressed with Christy Durham. She's doing everything right at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. She's starting to get it. Coming together a little bit more.
Well, we might let you go there, given that you're playing the game as we're talking to you. Thanks for joining us, Julie.
Good on you, Julie.
So Liz Ellis with Julie Fitzgerald during commentary here in Newcastle. As Irene Van Dijk adds another, so we're goal for goal, 9 each. Just over 3.5 minutes left in this first spell. It's been a tense one, almost a chess match.
And that was an easy phase of play from the Swifts. They got it down into Cox in 3 phases, so more pressure probably needs to be applied on that centre pass. from the Magic defence. But it was a missed shot, so the Magic get the ball.
Fantastic work, Irene van Dijk. She goes and goes again.
Yeah, they're just letting that ball go down there, especially Van Dijk and Langman, which is great. Oh, what was that? Contact. Can't afford to give away those sorts of penalties.
There's that amazing pressure on the shot, Casey Williams. But the seasoned pro, Catherine Cox, just up and over.
And she shot that on one leg, and the one leg that she shot it on was the one that's heavily bandaged. So she's not playing like a wounded soldier out there.
She certainly doesn't seem to be too hindered. And plenty of talk. Held ball, another turnover. Waikato Bay of plenty Magic. Susan Pratley questions the umpire again. There's a lot of talk midweek here in Sydney about Kath Cox, the new face of netball. She was on the cover of
the Sydney Herald. It was a fantastic shot too.
Pretty much unheard of in Australia in such a huge paper. And Jade Clark gets one back for the Magic. So just a brief stanza where the turnovers are aplenty. And just a hint, perhaps, of that fluency that we love to see when the Magic are on attack. Todd now.
Yeah, Kimberly Smith had Solia covered there. Brown again just getting caught, resting a little bit too much in that goal circle, needed to offer.
Well, Jodie Todd offered and got given the ball. So just a messy few minutes, a minute and a half left now of this first quarter.
Oh, lovely dodge from Van Dijk. Sprinting along the baseline and then cut the direction back and got the ball.
Not bad for a player who's just turned 38, pretty nimble on her feet.
And her movement the last 2 weeks I've been particularly impressed with. Her shooting every week is outstanding, but certainly she's putting in a lot more work in terms of her movement off the ball.
Cox out roaming again, and she and Pratley use the space in the circle beautifully. They just offer and offer again to their circle edge feeders. Lovely hold, good lob.
So Cox is on 70%, Pratley 80. Down the other end though, the Magic, both our shooters going at 100%. Jodie Brown 1 from 1.
A testament to how fine her feeding's been. Patience here from the Magic. And there it is again. Just not able to gather it in, Van Dijk, but that was one heck of a feed in from Jodie Brown.
Goal attack inside the circle.
Who's called for contact. So she'll need to stand beside Sonia McClomber as the penalty's set. There won't be time for the New South Wales Swifts. The countdown's begun and it's out the back door. And that brings to a close the first quarter here in Newcastle. We're with you live and it's tense stuff. The New South Wales Swifts just ahead of the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic. As we head to the break, it's 12-11. Welcome back to Newcastle, where the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic have had a fine start to this sudden death preliminary final. 12-11, they lead the home side, the New South Wales Swifts. And Anna Stanley, look at the numbers.
Well, look at the shooting stats. The Magic are doing pretty well so far. Haven't missed a goal, 100%. But if you look further down, the contact penalties, Magic are on 17 to Swift 6. That end they had Sharon Kelly, so she was the Australian umpire, so they'll have Mandy Nottingham this quarter. Not much in it, but good to see that the Magic stats are high. They just need to get more volume into Van Dijk.
One of the great battles on court, that's for sure. Casey Williams against Kath Cox. Kath Cox doing a fine enough job.
Yeah, she is. She's sitting on 7 from 10, so 70%, but she's prepared to come out of the circle and let Prattley be on that baseline, which she is so strong at, and it seems to be working. So she may not have the best stats, Catherine Cox, but she's got the movement and she uses her head. She's, you know, she's an experienced campaigner, as I said earlier on. She's a tough customer, and she's got the whole package as an athlete, that's for sure.
Kim Green waits to receive the ball off New Zealand umpire Mandy Nottingham. And we're away, second spell. With you live on Sky Sport from Newcastle, north of Sydney. And Kath Cox means business. 12 apiece. And we're sitting with Channel 10's coverage here in Australia, which means we duck in and out of their sideline interviews.
Goal defence.
So let's duck on in now and hear from Ali, their sideline eye.
Keep the ball moving on this occasion. They get it over the top to Irene.
Just worthwhile noting that at quarter time, the stats for the penalties, the Magic have given away 20 penalties to the Swiss, 9 within the first minute. That's been brought back to 20 for the Magic, 13.
Danny Twing obstruction.
Well, listen, Luke, actually on that occasion, so our apologies for being misguided at this end. Play live on court. Casey Williams gets a hand to it. The throw in Prattley.
Centre contact.
Good pressure from Langman around the outside, making Kimberly Green work hard to get that feed in.
Todd charges through court. And this is better stuff from the Magic, looking pretty fluent.
And good feed down from Jade Clark. She's looking over the mess, getting a bit of length in their passes.
Advantage offside.
Jodie Brown, the ball just teetered around the edge of the rim, but Van Dijk regathers. And now a 2-goal cushion with the pass. Waikato Bay of plenty Magic.
Oh.
Spoke too soon. An important turnover for the Swifts. Bully uses Prattley. Amazing defensive pressure. Waikato Bay of plenty Magic. But the Swifts just so patient.
Yep, they're certainly prepared to play it around a lot, but the Magic should be used to that. They played the Steel last week, and that's what the Steel are renowned for. Just that pass needed to probably pop over the top a little bit higher, but it was a bit of an ambitious pass from Solia, passing over a 3-foot mark. And the Magic player needed to come out more on an angle. It looked like a replayed ball to me.
Certainly did. But out of the line of vision of the umpire, so the Swifts get away with it. Back to an even ball game, 14 apiece. It's tense, Annie. Langman now finds Van Dijk.
Again, Van Dijk just doing those little sneaky up-to-go backs. Which Homer hasn't quite worked out yet.
You mentioned Vicky Wilson, former Australian player, critical of Laura Langman's feeds. Well, that's a pretty good way to silence her.
Yeah, but don't we just love Vicky Wilson? She just says it how it is. It's great. Stir up a bit of controversy. I'm sure that's fired the Magic up even more.
Bully, the big pass over to Prattley, all sorts of angles.
Oh, great one-on-one defence from Williams on the back, and Jodie Todd had her partner covered as well, so they're doing a sterling job down that defensive end for the Magic.
Solia and Brown combine. And there's the pass.
Yeah, beautiful. Amazing that we're in the second quarter and Brown's shot 1 from 2.
It was almost miraculous, that intercept.
Sensational.
And nice angles again. Irene Van Dijk using her body position beautifully. (17-14). This is the biggest margin we've seen. 3 goals, the Magic ahead.
Oh. And that was again, Williams went out for it. And Jodie Todd covered and came through with the intercept. So the It's all about the defensive effort down here. It's not just one of them that's doing it.
The bomb again. This time McCloma gets a hand to it, but it'll be Magic throw-in. And Van Dijk gives it the thumbs up anyway.
Well, they get the throw-in, so they get a second chance.
Advantage. Contact advantage offside.
And good angles on the circle edge. Magic, both mid-quarters holding well. Simple option taken.
Really important to hold on a side so that you've got the space for the feed to come in.
Offload again, goal again. 18-14 now. And here's the turnover.
So Williams
Jodie
did the
Todd.
jump, and Todd came through.
Nicely read. Good copybook defence from the Magic. Langman now.
And Langman and Solly doing a good job getting on the circle edge too.
Jodie Brown adds another. Suddenly 5 goals in it. So a quiet start to this second quarter from the Swifts. Brilliant, brilliant.
She's on fire, Williams.
She's pretty unflappable, Catherine Cox, though, isn't she? Todd used. And the Magic just trying to keep those straight lines going. So what they'll do is they'll go down court, then across, just to square and go again.
Well, I guess it saves doing those cross-court passes, which is what defenders love. Any diagonal gives defenders more time to come out and snaffle it up with an intercept. Like that, that was a cross-court. Williams, it would have been amazing if she'd have got that.
That was a gymnastic move. She needs to be in the next series of Dancing with the Stars, Casey Williams. Swifts now, Pratley, great footwork. And hell ball. The Williams woman again. Strong driving through court, Magic.
Contact wing defend.
Jade Clark and Jodie Todd doing a lot of work on attack, bringing that ball down, which is making it easier for this back line to sort out their structure and get a bit of cohesiveness.
And there's another one. So a real sense of sameness. Sonia McCloma is going to need to change her game, because certainly for the first quarter and a half of this match, Irene Van Dijk has the better of her.
Sonia McCloma not quite happy with that one. I think it was a bit of a tussle between both of them then.
Yeah, there's a few hostilities within the confines of that circle. Time called.
Magic supporters on their feet. They know why this time has been called.
It's been called because the Magic are 7 goals ahead. And we probably expected it to be called by the Swifts a couple of goals ago.
Yeah, and interesting there. Look how many more shots. Not that many more, actually, Pratley. 6 from 8 compared to Jodie Brown's 3 from 8. But goal assists, you know. Brown there, you can see 8 assists into Van Dijk, whereas Pratley has only had 1. And Brown is doing more off the centre pass as well. So although her stats aren't high, she does a lot of work around the outside of the court. Jodie Brown should make a pretty good wing attack as well. Wing attacks are good at feeding and coming off the line, so she's certainly doing her job out there. And then you look at Solier and Durham, both very similar with centre pass receives and goal assists. So Solier's actually not playing too badly.
7.5 minutes now until half-time. 22-15. Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic leading the Swifts. And suddenly Casey Williams has come alive in the second spell.
Oh.
A pretty urgent call of time, but just quietly, I think she might have known she would have got called for stepping had she not called time. So she's a wise bird as Frances Solier. She's got 67 tests for Samoa under her belt. 33 years old.
No, she did lean heavily on her ankle, so...
Yeah, but she was between a rock and a hard place. She can't play the ball from the ground, and she couldn't have stood up. So clever stuff, Frances Solier. Good on her. Langman regathers. Van Dijk out of the circle.
Oh, good work, Clark.
Bit of pit-a-pit. Pratley, though, will be penalised. And here's this patience again from the Magic. Langman tries to regather the pass to her.
Unlucky. Defence there was really strong from the Swifts. They were making Langman and Brown do a lot of work, and there's just not many options on.
Green hurls the big one straight out the side door. That was never on.
You'd have to say, Green's probably, I've been really impressed with her performances this year for the Swifts, but last week she had a shocker against the Thunderbirds. Just got worse and worse as the game went on. She hasn't started too badly here this afternoon.
Certainly lost her cool on that occasion. And once again, Sonia McCloma beaten well and truly.
She's certainly getting hammered in there. She needs to change it up. A bully needs to come back and help her.
And breaking called. She did break too, Jodie Brown. She questions Mandy Nottingham, but she was over the line. So an easy turnover, a gimme for the Swifts. Cox tries to work it. Courtney Tairi's been introduced into the game at wing attack for the Swifts.
Durham didn't do too bad a job, I thought.
Come forward, centre. Forward.
Penalty against Langman, so Kimberly Green will reset. And Pratley, the clever footwork again. Make sure of it.
A very unassuming player, Pratley, just goes about her business. She's on 78%, 7 from 9.
And this the chance for the Swifts to get one back. Brilliant baseline drive, Pratley. And there it is. So with just under 5 minutes until half-time, 23-17's the score. And this second quarter certainly has been dominated by the Magic, no doubt about that. Langman uses Solier.
Yeah, there we go. 2 back on Van Dijk, Bully and McCloma.
Let's see if we can eavesdrop now on the Channel 10 interview with the Magic coach, Nolene Taurua.
First quarter to make sure that we're up the front. So I'm happy where we're sitting at the moment.
Nolene, what have you worked on this week, given that you had a reasonably quick turnaround from the semi on Monday night to having to travel to Newcastle for the game today?
Yeah, we acknowledge that it was a very fast turnaround, but we really pushed the girls hard. I think one thing that we were able to be on our side is that we never had a hard-out pre-season, so, you know, there was still quite a bit of excitement happening in the camp that we've gotten another opportunity to play the game.
Just in short, what's the difference between your game today and your game 3 weeks ago against the Swifts?
I think last time that we played, even though, you know, it's not over yet, we were playing like individuals and we didn't have much structure and things like that, but there's a definite want and a definite fight today.
Thanks for joining us, Nolene. Appreciate your time.
Well, interesting words there from Coach Nolene Taurua to the Channel 10 commentary team. And there was so much controversy, wasn't there, over all of the things that Noel's talked about.
Well, yeah, they didn't have much of a pre-season, but they've had apparently a few more trainings this week than they normally do. And, you know, she's right, it's a different Magic team than the one that played the Swifts back in round 12. They're just playing a lot more cohesive netball. I think probably mostly it's the defence end for the Magic that have picked up. Jade Clark, Todd and Williams are playing as a unit, and you can just see they're making the Swifts attacking end work really hard to get the ball.
Swifts certainly doing their best to creep their way back into this game. But every time that big old bomb into Irene Van Dijk, and it just beats Sonia McCloma. So the New South Wales Swifts defensive combination are going to need to put their thinking caps on. Cox now finds Green. Bit of a doozy of an exchange between she and Clark. Stunning defensive shot, Casey Williams. The result, the throw-in. So another turnover Magic.
Oh. She's She's getting feisty, Kimberly Green.
They're well matched, Green and Langman. Zolia very high, uses Clark. There's the straight line again. And the first thing Jodie Brown does is look in.
Yeah, which is good. You need to when you've got 6 foot, whatever Irene is, 4 or 5 shooter down the back. You've got to turn in and look.
Feisty times in the goal circle. Look at those limbs, McClymber and Van Dijk getting tangled like a couple of windmills. And McClymber called. No surprise there.
She'll be starting to get frustrated, McClymber. She won't want this to affect the rest of her game.
Plenty of variety from the Magic attacking end, though.
Jodie Brown is just on fire with those feeds.
And there's another, so 27, 28 to 19. Into the last minute of the first half. And this is a stunning first half performance from the Magic.
Well, it is when you look at the amount of ball that is going into the Swifts attacking end. They've only got it in there 25 times. The Magic nearly 30, and normally the Swifts are well known for the fact they get a lot of ball into their attacking end. So you'd have to say defensively, you know, the Magic are doing their job. And it doesn't help when the attack end are also on song for the Magic.
Zolia gets a bit of a boo because she threw the elbow into Kim Smith, but it was really only to get her off her back. And another penalty now, and Van Dijk puts the shot up. And this will be a penalty, so Van Dijk has the chance to finish the first half with a Magic goal, and she does. So this first half spell certainly has Magic fans cheering. Why? Because the visitors lead the home side, the New South Wales Swifts, by 29 to 20. A stunning first half. We're live with you from Newcastle.
Well, the score from the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, would you believe it, ladies? The Magic are up by 9 goals, 29 to 20 over the New South Wales Swifts, who up until last week, let me remind you, hadn't lost a game all season. What do you make of that, Jenny?
Well, Catherine, it's too early to say I told you so, but this is certainly not the margin that I expected. A great, particularly second quarter from the Magic. The proof of the pudding, can they maintain it?
Definitely, and just the letting the ball go into Irene Van Dijk, it's beautiful. They're bringing the ball to the circle edge, feeding it in, and she's converting.
And you've got to look at the players who are having an impact. The defensive end of the Magic, they look sharp, they're attacking the ball, they're not getting bogged down in terms of staying on their player, are they, Kate?
No, I guess they're taking a leaf out of the Thunderbirds' book and contesting every ball, backing each other up. We're just seeing the bodies being put on the line and going for goal.
And you've got to be happy with the performance of Jade Clark. You know, often we talk about Casey Williams. Jodie Todd is performing well, but Clark's only been in this lineup for about a month, Kate, and performing as though she's been there for the entire season.
Well, she is an established English international, and you've got to remember that level of experience that she's bringing to the table. There's 13 past and present internationals on that court right now. We're seeing that experience being delivered.
Jodie Brown, we've got to talk about her. Can you compare her performance to, say, Susan Prattley? Because obviously they're playing a key role. Prattley's known to put up quite a number of shots for her side, probably not as many as she would like at this stage of the game. Brown not putting up many shots. She doesn't often do that. But in terms of her feed into Van Dijk, she's spot on this afternoon, isn't she?
She is, and she's cunning. She is a cunning player. She's a playmaker. She's feeding the ball where it's required. But as I mentioned, by them letting the ball go to Irene at an earlier stage, we're getting those conversions without Jodie having to take on that pressure.
Well, it's time for us to take a break. But just to remind you, yes, it is true, the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic up 29-20 against the New South Wales Swifts. It's half-time in the preliminary final from the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, and the Magic are dominating the Swifts 29-20. It was a close first quarter, but they started to move away in that second. Kate, we talked about Kath Cox and how important she was going to be for the Swifts. How do you rate her performance so far?
Well, I think they're down by 9 points, so probably a little bit average. She's getting the odd baseline cut and rolling the top of the circle, but I think Williams and Todd have really got them under control. We just saw a stat with the penalty counts, and it seems like down one end of the court, the defence are definitely getting penalised. So in that last quarter, we didn't see that in play, and it meant that the Magic could actually have a dabble at the ball.
And someone who needs to pick up her game, in my opinion, Jenny, is Sonia McCloma. Van Dijk's having a field day. She's holding one-on-one. McCloma, to me, is playing a little bit too negatively. She really needs to come out and hunt. But I must say that the feeds into Van Dijk are spot on, aren't they?
That's right. It's one of the things we talked about before the game, is how critical the feeding of Langman and Solia was going to be. But you're right, McCloma is just a no-show, as she was a little bit in that game against the Thunderbirds the other day. So it could cost the Swifts dearly unless she starts attacking.
All right, let's look at the Swifts. If you were the coach, you'd probably make some changes. Only time will tell if that happens, but they are ready to take the commentary at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre. Let's cross to Andrew McVeigh and Anna Stanley.
It's 29-20 in Newcastle, and we're about to start the third quarter. The Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic have come to town, and they're leading the New South Wales Swifts. They call this the championship quarter here in Australia. Can the New South Wales Swifts stage a comeback, Anna Stanley?
Well, they haven't made any changes, so they're clearly happy with the 7 that have been doing it for them. Casey Williams already. First attacking play for the Swifts, and Williams comes through. So maybe we might see a different game plan from the Swifts. Certainly down this end, McCloma and Bully need to stifle that ball in that Brown is feeding into Van Dijk, because it's just too easy at the moment.
Already the call's gone against the Magic. It's certainly been going to the end, shall you say, with one New Zealand umpire at one end and an Australian one at the other. So it's reflected.
So Nottingham 46 penalties when it's down her end compared to Sharon Kelly. So it's a big difference.
Swifts regather. Kim Green, circle edge. Another rebound, and another rebound gathered by Casey Williams.
But unlucky for Prattley then, the goalpost was moving. But ends the breaks.
Solia the feed to Langman, and Green will be penalised. And we talked about how the Swifts were going to change up their defence. Bully and McCloma both back on Van Dijk.
Yeah, but McCloma prepared to pick up Brown on her entry in.
And there's the big cross-court, usually a dangerous pass, but that was a sweet feed from Langman.
Yep, Jodie Brown gave her the heads up. Give it. She knew she was on the run, and she had the space behind her.
The bro brows. Cox looks to go again. Gets some air, under pressure from Todd, but safe as houses. 10 goals, 31-21, and Magic pass.
Again, she's just got the right trajectory, Langman.
It ought to have had a sound effect.
Gets a lot of height and just drops just where Van Dijk is under the goalpost.
Tayeri now. And a bit of biffo. Laura Langman called. Kim Green goes back. Tyree drives. Good baseline work, Kath Cox, and she finishes.
Two confident shots from Cox. She's still on 75%. Van Dijk 100. Jodie Brown 83.
Jodie Brown up on 1 foot. Hoofs, the big angle. Ooh. And too much on it. So a chance now for the New South Wales Swifts. They make their way patiently through court. Bully, no one in front.
And you saw there Cox came right up nearly to the transverse line, and Williams was all the way with her, so she's putting the pressure on her. Lovely pass from Tyree into Cox, read it well.
And there's one back from the home side, and boy, you know all about it when you hear the racket this crowd makes. Tyree again, Bully, transverse line.
Yeah, nice silky skills from Cox on the baseline. Not showing much emotion today, Coxie, not giving much away.
Macloma penalised, and the umpire applauded by Van Dijk. So just a sense that that exchange is starting to get pretty physical.
Oh, great pressure. Solia, step from Kimberly Smith. It's always the risk when you're on the run and you get on one foot. Got one option on.
Particularly defenders on attack, I think it has to be said. Van Dijk tries to work it around. Macloma's all over her. Magic up for the angles.
Yeah, good defence there by Macloma and Bully. They kept Van Dijk and Jodie Brown to one side, and Solia just pushed her way to the top of the circle edge and got pulled for contact.
And we often talk about the difference in interpretations. Australian umpires, without doubt, will call an attacker for contact a lot more than New Zealand umpires will.
Yeah, that's why it's always great to be an attacking player playing in New Zealand.
Solia now. The margin at three-quarter time was 9. It's back to that now. So we're goal for goal in this third spell. Tyree and Green combine, and Pratley uses the angles. Clark, transverse line. And it's almost a signature now, this patience from the Magic. Langman has a go, the angle just a little off.
Yeah, the pass was pushed a bit too high.
And just a sea of Magic defenders. So the Swifts really having to stutter their way through the mid-court.
Jade Clark is putting a lot of pressure on Tyree. Just that one-on-one defence that she's so strong at.
Tyree sets the penalty. Good, easy pass into Cox. She's just so available, Kath Cox.
And just so confident. She gets that ball and she's prepared to put it up wherever she is in that circle. Such a lovely shooting technique.
It's getting physical.
And it's getting closer. Swifts are starting, well, no. Cox was trying to do a sneaky little bounce pass to Pratley along the baseline, but Jodie Todd had it covered. It's where Todd and Williams complement each other so much. Williams is so good on the high ball, and Todd, you could call her as a really strong ground grubber.
Fast hands again, Jodie Brown. Finds Solia in the pocket, and there's the call again against Frances Solia, so she's going to need to amend. Green, Bully on the transverse line. So a real shift in momentum over the past couple of minutes. New South Wales Swifts are not done yet.
Contact and advantage offside.
7 minutes to run in this third quarter. And Cox slots it again.
Yeah, just Solia giving Kimberly Smith a bit of a push. So timeout called here from the Magic. Solia called it. ice being applied to her ankle.
34 goals to 28.
And here's a battle between Kimberly Green and Laura Langman. Well, Langman is winning when it comes to goal assists. Neither of them have got intercepts. I think they're cancelling each other out. They're doing some solid work on sort of man-to-man. Penalties, though. Kimberly Green a few more on Langman. And Langman throwing the ball over one more than Kimberly Green. And she's just pushed it a little bit too far into Van Dyke, but certainly her feeds in, other than those three, have been pretty outstanding, I'd have to say.
It's pretty good exchanges all over the court. Sonia McCloma just laying down the law.
Looks pretty animated once she gets going.
She's always got a lot to say. She's a player we admire greatly. But she's going to need to do a whole lot more work if she's to dominate Irene Van Dyke. Van Dyke certainly has the better of her so far in this match.
But the Magic are only up by 6, so they can't rest on their laurels. This is, let's not forget, the Swifts who won the minor premiership. They won 13 games in a row. They know how to win. They know how to come back and fight. Magic, you'd have to say, don't have the best record when it comes to finals time. They've played the Swifts twice before in finals and lost them both.
Both of those encounters back in 2008, where there was a complete role reversal. Actually, wasn't there any, because the Magic went through as the minor premiers. Then the Swifts came into Magic territory and snaffled the preliminary final, went on to win the grand final.
So that's got to be a good sign for the Magic.
We've been taking all the good signs all day, really, haven't we? Anna, we had lunch in a place called Hamilton, close to Newcastle. We saw that as a good sign. Jodie Brown, certainly a player on fire today.
Especially with her goal assist there, 13 into Van Dyke. Her vision would have to be one of the best in the country. Oh, well done, Kimberly Smith. Solly getting caught a little bit too much in that pocket. Run out of room when you get caught in the corners too much as a mid-quarter.
And just such a height difference between the two. Frances Solier down at 1.69 m, but that might even be stretching it. And Kim Smith 1.82 m, so... Cox now as Williams is penalised, and there's another.
Yeah, stats are climbing. Cox, 18 from 22 now, 82%. And she's starting to get a little bit more animated, Cox, yelling at her teammates.
Let's check in now with the Channel 10 commentary team, who have with them Julie Fitzgerald.
Julie, we've got a feeling of some great momentum and really good energy around your side at the moment.
Yeah, there's certainly a little bit more desperation, and I think we're working the ball a whole lot better now than we did in the first half.
It just looks like, Julie, when your team gets stagnant, I guess there's just the one offer to the ball. It just looks with Courtney Tyree coming on. She's been in this furnace before. She knows what it's like now, and she's a little bit smarter this week than last week.
Yeah, I think so, and she's looking for the ball a lot more. I think before she was trying to hide out of it a little bit, but out there now, she's really looking for the ball. We just have to do a lot more coming down the court to stop this feed going into Irene, because she's playing superbly at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you defensively. What have you instructed Rebecca Bully in particular to do in this second half?
Mix it up a little bit, trying to take Sonia right off the body and to just attack the ball that's coming in. Sometimes drop back and put the double in, and sometimes work the front and try and force the ball up so Sonia's got an opportunity to come onto it.
Thanks, Julie. And that's the play that Julie's speaking about.
Well, I think we can decipher that pretty nicely, and that was great coaching advice from Julie Fitzgerald. She's asked Sonia McCloma to play off Irene Van Dyke so that she can go out and hunt for intercepts, using Rebecca Bully really as her foil.
Yeah, well, I guess when you're off the ball a bit more, you've got time to come around and go for the ball, but the way that Jodie Brown is feeding at the moment, you even saw then, though both went back on Van Dyke, and Brown still managed to get the feed in.
Well, when you play off a player as a defender, what you do need is time. So when those passes in are short and sharp and to the point, you just don't have the time to get round.
Oh, that was a bit of a funny pass from Van Dyke.
A little flick in court, but Jodie Brown, her sidekick, was waiting. And third time lucky, Magic notch up another.
And Van Dyke still has not missed a goal. 33 from 33.
Sort of a backwards layup from Van Dyke. Flicked back into Brown.
Oh, great hands. Casey Williams. Managed to get a little tip to that.
The
Jade
timing's
Clark
been
picked it up.
superb all day, hasn't it? Todd now, Clark drives.
Centre extraction, centre third. Centre third.
And Kim Green called for obstruction. Now Solia.
Lovely pop. Again, it's just the timing between Brown and Van Dijk. If Brown doesn't give the long one over, Van Dijk pops for the front wall.
So now it's back to 8. Just over 2 minutes left in the third spell. The bomb again, but off McCloma. So the Magic will have another chance through a throw-in.
Oh, Brown did a little sneaky off the goalpost.
About as clever as it gets. Now, you're allowed to do that. For those of you at home who perhaps wondered what the heck just happened, you're allowed to do that so long as there is room between you and the goalpost for another player. Turnover time again, Magic. So a fine finish to this third spell. Bully gets a hand to it.
Yeah, good cover from Bully. She saw the long one coming in and she had time to come in and get a bit of a hand to it. Swift's defence just need to be sharper with setting up, because as soon as Brown puts her foot up, she passes that ball in.
And a lot of that's to do with footwork. New South Wales Swift's defender just needing to take the extra step. Another great bomb into Van Dijk.
Yeah, and great patience shown from the Magic then. Langman turned to Todd on the transverse line and reset it. Green and Smith doing a great job on Solia. She's finding it hard to come out on that centre pass.
Lovely ball control. Magic, and Brown finishes. That was stunning. Tyree had a quiet time on court so far, Courtney Tyree. Pratley finds Green circle edge, better stuff Swift, and baseline Cox. Williams called for distance. She wonders whether the pass has been taken. No, it hasn't. The countdown's begun, so Solia will hoof it in. And there's not time. Irene Van Dijk begs for the penalty, but it's not to be. So as we head to three-quarter time, it's the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic still dominant here in Newcastle. 42-32, they lead the New South Wales Swifts. We're back soon with the final 15.
Congratulations, you carried that away. Guys and girls, let's grab something and help these girls so they can play again. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for playing. For our winners, Chris. Oh, is that all you can do? Give them a round of applause. Your side won. Final quarter, this is
it's 42-32. The Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic are leading the New South Wales Swifts as we go into the last 15 of this all-important preliminary final. And Anna Stanley, it's thanks so much to Irene Van Dijk.
Well, she has not missed a goal this entire game. She's sitting on 35 from 35, 100%. And it's not just her shots, her movement in that circle has been outstanding this whole game, because Jodie Brown has found it really easy to get those feeds in, and her goal assists have been fantastic. So it's been a great three quarters for the Magic. The Swifts 13-12. The Magic only won that one by 1. So the Swifts are starting to come back. So this will be another big quarter that the Magic have to put out if they're wanting to stay ahead.
Ted's time's all right. We're into the final 15, preliminary final for 2010, 42-32. The Magic hold that magic 10-goal buffer. Make that 9. 10 goals is basically 4 breaks to get the Swifts back into this one. And you can guarantee the message at three-quarter time from coach Nolene Taurua to her team would be possession. It's a simple game, really, isn't it? Score off your own.
Yep, pass and catch. We make it sound so easy, and Jodie Brown is certainly making those feeds into Van Dijk look very easy.
Instruction.
Van Dijk adds another. And another minute ticks by. New Zealand teams have had 40 attempts at winning on this side of the Tasman. They've only won once. And dare I say, with just under 14 minutes left, the Magic could make a little piece of 2010 history here today.
It's an incredible stat, isn't it? But let's not forget that this afternoon we have one Australian umpire and one New Zealand umpire on this game. Any other time the Kiwis cross the Tasman, it's always 2 Aussies, so it might be a little bit of a difference too.
Strong hold, Irene Van Dijk. She's delivered all day, has she, against Sonia Makloma.
Damage contact on defense.
Bully on the transverse line, looks for the cross court, but finds Tyree, and that's a special feed in. Cox under all sorts of pressure from Casey Williams. Shakes herself off. Brown. New South Wales Swifts are going to throw everything at this last 15.
And they just really don't look like the Swifts team that has, won the minor premiership. They've won 13 games in a row, but it's not quite firing here this afternoon. I don't know whether it's just, I think it's a bit of both, the pressure that the Magic are putting on them, and certainly making it hard for the Swifts. But you just wonder if their confidence has been knocked a bit. A big loss to the Thunderbirds last week. Maybe they peaked too soon.
Certainly a massive wrangle either way.
There's a lot of talk pre-season that the Magic didn't do enough. They weren't involved in any pre-season tournaments and are just starting to hit form at the business end of the competition.
Contact outside the circle.
Cox called this time, so physical exchanges end to end. And should be used again, Casey Williams.
Yeah, good pressure, Tyree.
Oh, it's not short of action, is it? So Tyree gets the throw in. And Green uses Bully on the transverse line. Patient stuff, New South Wales Swifts. Green and Tyree combine, and Cox out of the circle.
Advantage contact, wing attack. Obstruction, wing attack, centre third.
Pretty diligent defence from the Magic.
Centre contact.
Unlucky Langman.
Advantage.
Todd putting a cheeky little leg in then. Not allowed to defend with your feet.
I think that was her shin.
Shin, yeah.
Jade Clark opts for Laura Langman. She's got a lot of vision when she attacks Jade Clark, and there's the bomb.
Yeah, from
One
Langman
more
this time. The feeders make it look so easy, but Van Dijk still has to hold strong. She's got to get those high balls and pluck them when she's got a defender trying to get them too. So it's a two-way thing. It's not just the middies that are, that are making Irene look good. Yeah, lovely pass. Cox on her own under the goalpost. Tyree fired it in.
Just over 10 minutes left in this one, and remember, at the end of it, the season will be over for one of these teams.
And if the Magic make the grand final, there'll be a new ANZ Championship winner, because of course the first year it was the Swifts, second year it was the Vixens. So if the Magic go through, it's either the Magic or the Thunderbirds. So I guess it's great for the competition. All these teams getting their opportunity to be the winners.
Bradley adds another, and talk of netball on this side of the Tasman all week. The grand final sold out in 12 minutes.
Yeah, there's a huge buzz over here in Australia, and especially in Adelaide, and over 9,000 tickets sold. So, you know, it's fantastic for the game.
Well, Jodie Brown picked up the scraps, but it was topsy-turvy down the other end, so the Swifts now have another chance.
But after that last feed that Langman put into Van Dijk, then she gave Solia a massive high five. She's really pumped, Langman. There's certainly a look of urgency with this Magic side. They really want to win this one.
Correctly, it was on to Kath Cox, but she opted instead for Kim Green, and Langman will be penalised circle edge for contact. I was about to say how anyone shoots over that arm of Casey Williams is beyond me. Well, even Kath Cox wouldn't sustain that pressure.
They're not only winning on the accuracy stakes, the Magic, but rebounds as well. So both Williams and Van Dijk beating their opposition. Crowd not happy about that one. Macomb getting pinged again.
Except for the small pocket of Magic supporters and the Magic bench who've been doing a kind of a chant all game, just trying to make as much Magic noise as they can. That stretches the lead out to 11 with the pass. But it's turned over, throw-in Swifts.
So a few different things that the Magic are showing us. They've even got the Magic little ribbons in their hair, all the Magic girls. So maybe these are all signs.
We're catching up with Irene Van Dijk midweek. She said the one mindset that they were going to try to change going into this one was the fact that they were just going somewhere else to play a game, and that it really took less time to get to Sydney than it did to get to Invercargill.
Well, and that's a good mentality. It's been a crazy stat, the fact that, you know, very few teams have won over here in Australia, but
one.
Yeah. The Magic can do it here this afternoon. They will be the only New Zealand side, but they've done it twice. Julie Fitzgerald not looking very happy, and that would have been another great feed, but the goalpost got in the way.
And instead it's a bit of a rebound / throw-in. So just 7 minutes remaining now in this so important match. William Smith combined. And Green, a good salvage job. So good combination still from the Swifts. Offside, so Cox will use Tyree on the circle edge. Still 10 goals, 6.5 minutes now. Do the New South Wales Swifts have a late charge left in them? Still a long time in netball, 6 minutes. Langman darting through court. She's used again and again.
And great pressure from Kimberly Green. Yeah. Great option. Van Dijk not happy with that. Macomb must have whacked it.
You don't often see Irene Van Dijk fired up, but that, folks, is a fired up Van Dijk.
Sorry, ladies, goal attack, contact. Set, go.
Bratley, beautiful pass into Cox, and there's one back. Didn't look to be much in it. Tyree, 8 goals now, just over 5 minutes left. So the New South Wales Swifts know that they need to make their move, and they're doing their best to do just that.
Well done, Pratley. Good rebound.
No real surprise, time's been called.
Well, you've got to do it.
It's a pretty...
Swifts would have done it. They're getting a good boo from the crowd, that's for sure.
It's certainly an unpopular one.
50 goals, please, 43.
Starting to make a little bit of a comeback here. The Magic need to be careful. There's only 7 in it, which is really nothing with 5 minutes to go. But Casey Williams has certainly been on song again for the 2nd, 3rd week in a row. 3 intercepts, 4 rebounds.
Anna, if you were wearing Magic colours as you did, what would you be saying now?
It's just all about possession, not doing anything too fancy, not throwing any 50-50 balls into Van Dyke when they don't think it's on, and defensively just keep the pressure on, lots of talk. But at the moment it would be just treasure possession. You've got to throw it around 20 times, do it. Got to make every goal count.
Here's the equation, just under 5 minutes remaining. It's 50 to 43, just 7 in it. And Rebecca Bully delivers for her side.
Well, Brown got caught standing on the spot, not taking her feet to the ball, so big no-no.
Just a sense this is by no means over. Cox drives out of the circle, but her shadow's with her. Casey Williams. Throw-in Swifts.
Instruction on court.
Let's hear now with the Channel 10 commentary team from the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic coach Nolene Taurua. She's with Luke Darcy and Liz Ellis.
A little bit of pressure being applied back to your side.
Yeah, definitely. Wish the clock will hurry up.
Nolene, it might be a very long 4 minutes for you. If you could call a timeout now, if you could have your team, what would you say to them?
Yeah, that we've got to keep connected and united and just keep the ball.
Nolene, we'll let you get back into it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And
I think just about every netball fan in the country is with coach Nolene Taurua on that one.
Begging the clock to count down a little bit quicker, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, nice feed from Green, a nice roll from Pratley. So 5 in it now. This is just needs to be an easy one for the Magic.
3.5 minutes left, which, Annie, as we know, it is a long time in netball. Clark now will find Solia, who front cuts under all sorts of pressure from Kim Smith.
Even my heart's starting to race.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Contact called against McCloma. Poor old New Zealand umpire Mandy Nottingham's booed again. Back to 6, 3 minutes left. Solia called for obstruction. And the Swifts patiently work their way towards their own shooting circle. Fantastic feed. And great shot. Clark and Langman.
Again, Clark's good with looking long. She feeds those long ones down to Langman.
Obstruction Kim Green, so Langman right on the circle edge.
Yeah, nice work, Langman. Gave the quick little fake to Brown and popped it over to Van Dyke.
2 minutes 20 left, 52 to 46. Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic ahead. Pratley, baseline, snuck her way through beautifully. Two minutes now. And there's one back through the fingertips of Susan Pratley.
Yeah, all the Magic players just running away then, so the Swifts really applying good pressure here.
Jodie Brown throws everything at it, but it'll be a throw into the Swifts, and Bully will take it.
You'd have to say that time is slowly starting to tick down for the Swifts.
And Jade Clark gets a crucial hand to it. So some respite. Can Van Dyke finish it? Yes, she can.
Nolene Taurua, good to see her looking pretty happy on the bench.
Yeah, she often wears the game face. And the Magic bench on their feet, they have good reason to be.
It'll be their second final if they make it. Of course, they made it in 2008.
A minute to play now. 5 goals. Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic looking to seal the deal. And with 46 seconds remaining, you'd say that Irene Van Dyke has done just that.
Well, she's missed 1 goal this whole game, 98%. What a star. Oh, great take, Catherine Cox.
Star player at the other end, but it'll be too little, too late. And for just the second time in the history of the ANZ Championship, a New Zealand team will win in Australia. The countdown begins. We're into the dying seconds. The Swifts will try to add another. It's out the back door, and it will not be enough. Full time. The Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic will go through to the 2010 Grand Final. They've beaten the New South Wales Swifts 54-49 in the standing. What a cliffhanger in the end.
What a game. And you look at the Magic players, they are just ecstatic. Fantastic performance by them. They came out right from the start, asserted their dominance, played good, strong netball. Their defence led by Casey Williams and Van Dyke and Jodie Brown down the attacking end. Absolutely outstanding. Too good. The Swifts showed patches of brilliance. Made a bit of a late surge, but in the end it was just that, a little bit too late. And the players just showing what a relief. They are in the grand final. They get another chance at beating an Australian side on Australian soil next week.
Emotions running high here in Newcastle. The Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic have done it for New Zealand. They will advance to the grand final. It'll be played in a week in Adelaide against the Thunderbirds. From Newcastle, it's farewell, but the Sky Studio will be back very shortly for you to wrap it up, so you stay right where you are.
The preliminary final is over at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, and all of New Zealand should be celebrating because the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic have toppled the New South Wales Swifts 54-49, Jen. An incredible performance by the New Zealanders.
Absolutely. I can hear the cowbells ringing in my ears. It was a sustained performance. You talked at the beginning, Kath, about the Magic needing to put together 60 minutes, and they did it, and I think that was the answer.
And the Swifts for you, Kate, where did they lose it?
I think probably into the goal circle. I think that the Magic defence really shut down that drive on the base and the top roll for Cox and Prattley, and also the contestation by Laura Langman really shut down Green, limiting their ability to pass down the court.
Well, talking about the goal circle, one person who didn't struggle was Irene Van Dyke, 98%. She shot 44 goals, which is an incredible performance. Let's hear what she had to say after the game.
Personally, fantastic game, Irene. Well done. Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely ecstatic. Can you tell us what that dance was a minute ago? What was that? It's a movie that we watched on the plane on our way over, and it was hilarious, so we thought we might just share a little bit. Well done. It was very impressive. But during the week, you worked a lot on one in the defence end, and obviously all the way down the court. It worked for you today? Yes, you know, there were things that we had to sort out, and all of a sudden it just came all together today, and yeah, just really happy that it worked today. Yeah, obviously great team performance. Can you give us a bit of a rundown what you're going to be doing leading into the grand final, playing Thunderbirds next week? I think pretty much what we've done last week, you know, just focus on cutting out our personal errors, and when the ball goes down, just put as much pressure on it as we can. Absolutely fantastic game. You must be extremely pleased. I'll go and help you celebrate with you two girls, and good luck next week. Brilliant, thank you.
Nice work. That was a superstar performance by a superstar, Jenny. It was an incredible game that she put in for the Magic, but she was on the end of some terrific fees, wasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, you almost run out of superlatives for Van Dyke sometimes, but we were worried before the game from a Magic point of view about how good those feeds would be from Solier and from Langman. Pitch perfect tonight. She brought in some high ball, but also, too, I think Sonia McCloma, not the force we thought she might have been. And really, Van Dyke had it all over her.
And someone else who wasn't the force that she might have wanted to be was the captain of the New South Wales Swifts, Kath Cox.
Coxie, disappointing result, not the way you want it to go.
I'm gutted, absolutely gutted.
You obviously in that last, you were down 10 goals. You came back and showed a lot of fight in that last quarter. It shows a lot of strength in your team and a lot of depth in the players to come back and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so proud of them. It's tough. I mean, it was 10 goals down. It's a lot to come back, but we were not going to give up. And right to the very end, we fought, and I'm really proud of them. Not the way we would have liked to have ended the season.
Obviously pleased with the crowd that you had today. You've got a lot of girls from the State Age Championships here, and they came out in support and were very loud in the supporting.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Sorry that didn't go to plan. But your support was fantastic, and we heard you right from the start to the finish. We really appreciate it, so thank you very much.
Obviously,
a disappointing performance by Kath Cox, but they really struggled, didn't they? And often we have talked about the ends for both teams, but the mid-court, particularly of the Magic, were just dynamite tonight, weren't they?
They were stunning, and I think that where they were effective is they really limited that free-flowing game that the Swifts love. They were forced into second and third phase ball, which upset their timing, and obviously the feeds into Cox and Prattley.
Well, let's have a look at the feeds here, Jenny. Is this the sort of game that the Magic can play against the Adelaide Thunderbirds, just rely on Van Dijk solely?
Well, I don't know that they can, because you look straight ahead to that defensive combination that they're going to be up against, Gerard and Mentor. And also the wing defence for the Thunderbirds, who I think has been fantastic this year, this young Shani Layton. She looks about 6 foot tall out there. She will have a lot of pressure on that feeding. So I tell you, it's going to be a terrific final. It's a perfect end to the competition.
And Kate, do you rate the chances of the Magic against the Thunderbirds, again, away from home?
Well, I think based on that performance today, that's 4 games in a row, winning streak. Let's see what they can bring to the table.
So the final game of the season will be held next Sunday at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. It is between the Adelaide Thunderbirds and the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic. Over 9,000 people will be there. Sold out in no time. It's going to be a ripper of the game, and no doubt all of New Zealand will be behind the Magic. It's going to be a tight one, but for me, I'm actually tipping the Thunderbirds, not because I used to play for them, but because it is at home. But I certainly don't write the Magic out of the equation, Jenny.
Well, I'm going to stick to what I said before. Again, I think we're seeing a Magic team on the rise. They've built ever since that win against the Thunderbirds in Rotorua a couple of weeks ago, and they've got better and better with each game.
And just quickly for you, Kate?
I'll stick with the Magic this time. I think Catherine Cox, what they quote, knows no bounds. Well, she knows her bounds, and surely the Thunderbirds will shortly.
Well, what we do know is it's going to be a terrific grand final, but for everyone watching at home, yes, the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic, too strong for the New South Wales Swifts, beating them at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, 54-49.
The Sky Netball team styled by Ketski.